definition of character. You can't possibly recreate every moment, or enter the brain of a subject matter, or know precisely what someone was thinking at any particular moment. This is something that has forever bothered me about sports media. "Joey, what was going through your mind as you dunked that basketball?" is a near impossible question to actually answer. What you can do is understand what causes a person to tick, and how he became who he ultimately became, and what he did to make the world a better, or worse, or more interesting place. Which leads to two of my favorite Brett Favre stories. First, in 2003, the Green Bay Packers hired a young coach named John Bonamego to serve as the special teams coordinator. He and his family moved down the street from the Favre household on a cul-de-sac filled with kids who always looked for the quarterback. Bonamego's oldest son, Javi, was 5 and easily impressionable. One day, Favre pulled the boy aside. "Hey, Javi, you and I are buddies, right?" he asked. "Yes," Javi said. "Great," Favre said. "So there's this special hand signal, but it's just for really close buddies to use to say hello to one another. I want to teach it to you, and any time I drive by, you can do it to me. How does that sound?" "Great," Javi said. "Just for us buddies." "Right," Brett said. "You have to keep it a secret, okay?" "Yeah," Javi said. "I won't tell anyone." "You promise?" Favre said. "I promise," Javi replied. "Perfect," Favre said. "So what you do is you hold your hand in a fist like this, and then you just lift the middle finger so it's all alone, and..." Second, when Favre was late in his time with the Packers, he learned of a Wisconsin boy named Anderson Butzine, who in February 2006 was diagnosed with ependymoma, a rare tumor of the brain and spinal cord. The quarterback wrote the child a letter, which, while cherished in the Butzine household, was merely one of hundreds of notes Favre penned to the ill and infirm. "I never saw Brett not respond to a person in need," says David Thomason, who handled much of the quarterback's fan mail. "He was amazing when it came to that." As the years passed and his health worsened, the one thing Anderson clung to was his football hero. By the time he was 5, he was not doing well, says Michelle Butzine, his mother. Anderson was bedridden. He couldn't move his arms. He couldn't speak. He was on a ventilator. He couldn't hold up his head. Thomason was updated on Anderson's condition and reminded Favre that there was a boy in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, who needed him. One day, out of the blue, Michelle was told that the quarterback, now a Viking, and his wife would like to fly in from Minnesota and visit their home. The year was 2010. The doorbell rings, and there's this big guy, big smile on his face. When Anderson saw Favre, he excitedly lifted his right leg into the air. He was wearing a purple and yellow Viking sock. "It took such an effort," said Michelle, "but he always loved the stinky toes game, where we'd pretend his feet smelled." She explained this to the Favres, then Brett bent to one knee, gently held Anderson's right foot, took a whiff and said, "Aw, they're not so bad." Favre spent 3 hours with Anderson, at one point sitting by his side and stroking the hair atop his head, whispering warm words into his ear. He complimented the different pictures Anderson had drawn, many featuring Favre in a Minnesota uniform, wearing a backward number 4. As the tumor progressed, Anderson struggled to write numbers correctly. "It was the sweetest thing," said Michelle. "Lots of people have heroes. Lots of people are fans. But to know your hero loves you as much as you love him, that's special." Later that season, the Vikings hosted the Bears in what turned out to be Favre's final NFL appearance. After the 40-14 loss, he was hit with questions from the press about a rough season and a potential concussion, and whether he was at long last